Hello, hi, mabuhay! I'm Jerome Hipolito.
I'm Theresa Nicole Panlilio.
And I'm Cherrie Evaristo
From grade 11 HUMSS PEDRO CALUNGSOD. And for today's video, I will present my research title proposal, which is the perception and coping mechanism of grade 11 students towards the quality of education.
New skills of learning and communication of senior high school during online class.
Perspectives of HUMSS students in the implementation of distance learning amidst COVID-19 pandemic.
Without further ado, let's proceed to the justification for choosing the title. Whoever teaches learns in the act of teaching, and whoever learns teaches in the act of learning, wrote the Brazilian pedagogue Paulo Freire in his famous book, Pedagogy of Freedom. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic that the world is currently facing, all of the establishments was closed, especially schools and universities, to control the spread of the virus. In that situation, everything has changed, including the traditional face-to-face classes. Amidst the situation, ICT took a big part in the teaching and learning process. The schools and universities offered an online classes as a substitute to the traditional face-to-face classes. However, there's a lot of problems developed during this period, especially the quality of online education for the students. The educator and the students in different schools and universities are struggling with the new setup of learning system. Now, let's proceed to the projected contribution to the growth of knowledge. In the outbreak of coronavirus, agencies were not spread with its effects, especially the Department of Education. In presenting this topic, the researcher provides two things that might help to the contribution to the growth of knowledge. The first one is that study may help the students to coping up the new learning system. Coping mechanism skills improve the ability of students to attend online classes and to be more positive learning experience. And the second one is to help the students know the significance in the field of education as an evidence-based strategy to combat process in education, especially in online teaching. Now, let's move on to the state of the problem. This study aims to explore the, in general question, we have what are the perception of grade 11 students in an online approach of teaching? In the specific questions, we have the first one, what are the coping mechanism of grade 11 students? The second one is there significant difference between the coping mechanism towards the quality of online education?
I know this topic will help senior high school students like me because of new mode of learning and struggling in talking in front of many people. Despite to the current situation in today's generation, which is the pandemic or the COVID-19, this will help the senior high school students, especially those new to the new learning system. As is evident from students, they're struggling sometimes because of new learning system. Firstly, persistence is perhaps the biggest key to success in online. Effective time management skills and appropriate communication skills, this is the important one, in view of the fact that this is a big help since it is associated with greater academic performance and lower levels of anxiety in students. Communicating effectively is a teachable skill. Through communicating in a good way that will really keen your mind and increase your knowledge. Use appropriate language and watch your body language will enable you to hone up on your communication skills. To introduce this topic, the researcher provides two things that will help to the contribution of the growth of knowledge. The first one is new learning skills is enough to have knowledge this school year. According to the study, when you are learning new skills, you can adapt yourself to any situation. This gives you a sense of accomplishment. Your new opportunities are created. It makes you feel important. It motivates you. Second second one is, this study is helpful to those students who don't have any confidence to talk to many people. It will help them to boost their confidence too. Due to this study, they will be able to overcome the thing they overused to fear.
In this discussion, I will focus on three main issues: the justification for choosing the title, projected contributions to the growth of knowledge, and the statement of the problem. Before we discuss that, let's talk about first the proposed title. The title I created is Perspectives of HUMSS Strand Students in the Implementation of Distance Learning Amidst COVID-19 Pandemic. Of course, in our situation right now, we will need this kind of topic. The perspective of our fellow students who needed time and courage to face the reality that we are in crisis and we will need to have a new learning system, which is distance learning, as we so-called online learning. In this topic, we will know the perspective of the students about the new learning system, if they are ready to face this kind of situation, if they can make it till the end, and to know the positive and the negative effect of the online learning has. Now, we will move to the three main issues. First, the justification for choosing the title. Due to the pandemic, the education sector was eventually affected. Online learning. This is the way the government sees so that students can continue their education without having to go to school. As part of the so-called new normal in the country's education system, online education is seen as a way for students to continue their education that has been halted due to the pandemic. The issue is long overdue, and different perspectives have gathered on what exactly should be done. This research provided an opportunity for the citizens, especially the students, to give their own perspective on the changing trend of learning. Most of them have a negative outlook because of the hardships of life, and others benefit from distance learning because even at home they are able to study and do not fall behind the rules they should know. In this research, the different perspectives of the students on this issue will be known. Let's move to the second one, which is the projected contributions to the growth of knowledge. The main purpose of this topic is to find out what are the views of HUMSS Strand students about distance learning that takes place during the pandemic, the positive and negative views of students on this issue. This study will help the researcher to know what young people see or think in changing the learning trend. This study will also help the government to know the situation faced by the youth due to the chosen approach in the education sector. This study will help to know the purpose of online learning. Now, we're on the last issue of our topic, the statement of the problems. This study aims to identify what are the students' views on the new learning trend in the midst of the pandemic. What are the students will need to prepare for modern learning in such a situation? What government can do to encourage students to study in the midst of crisis? What is the method that is really effective in solving problems?
That's all for today, guys. Once again, I'm Jerome Hipolito.
And Theresa, Nicole, Panlilio.
And Cherrie Evaristo.
This is my research title proposal. Thank you.
Over you, when I move to the side, when I move, call you